Welcome to the SCI Forum podcast. This podcast was produced by the Northwest Regional Spinal Cord Injury System in the University of Washington Department of Rehabilitation Medicine. The Northwest Regional SCI system is dedicated to improving the lives of people with SCI through excellent patient care, research, and education. To learn more about our podcasts and videos or to make a donation, go to sci.washington.edu.
Hello and welcome to the Spinal Cord Injury Forum podcast. My name is Jeannie Hoffman, and I'm the director of the Northwest Regional Spinal Cord Injury System. I'm also a clinical psychologist and professor at the University of Washington in the Department of Rehabilitation Medicine. In February of this year, we released an interview with Dr. Chet Moritz in which we were talking about his research into transcutaneous stimulation. There were two projects that he shared with us. The first with using transcutaneous stimulation for people with cervical level spinal cord injury, and the second for people with thoracic level. The preliminary results were in for the first study and were very exciting. And, we often hear about new research and then it kind of fades away. But to buck that trend, we're actually going to follow up today with John Schluter. John was a participant in Dr. Moritz's research to increase hand function for those who have had a cervical spinal cord injury, or also known as tetraplegia. John has graciously come in today to share his experience with that treatment. So, John, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you just start by doing a brief introduction about your injury level, how long you've been injured?
My injury level, I'm injured from the C5 to C7 vertebrae. I tore my spinal cord diving into a pool 13 years ago and suffered some traumatic consequences. It was a diving accident in Maine, and I spent, it might have been 3 weeks in intensive care out there. Then I was flown back home here to the University of Washington.
So when you were left the hospital, what was your abilities? What function did you have at that time?
When I left the hospital, I had weaned off the breathing machine, which is a big thing. I was able to swallow and chew again. These were the benchmarks I was experiencing. I gained a lot of strengths there. I lost my trach. Things were looking a little bit better for my injury. I started to get some finger movement back in my left hand. They were starting to be wiggling a little bit, so we knew I was incomplete. And not much it was coming back in the right hand, and that's what ended up happening. So basically, kind of fast forward through the months here, I ended up just going all in on physical therapy-based rehabilitation, and that got me somewhere. I was able by the end of it to maybe stand up with my tone in a walker, maybe shuffle a step or two, but in the end, my right-hand side was basically nothing came back. I got a tricep back.
At what point did you kind of say, here's where I'm at?
About 2 years into it, it was becoming evident not much more was going to come back no matter what I did.
So, what have you been doing over these years? Have you noticed any other changes happen as you've kind of continued to be active and just living your life?
Wherever it was along the line between here and 13 years ago that I knew nothing was probably going to come back, I still was motivated to keep myself in the best possible shape that I could keep myself in. I have a standing frame at home. I use that every single day, if not 3 times a day. I've got a stationary arm cycle that is like my life. I cardio on that thing. I stretch out every day. I eat the best I can. It's 2 things. It's one, because this life is hard enough as it is, and it gets worse when you're sick and you're out of shape or whatever. Anything that goes wrong, you got to keep yourself in shape. And 2, something might come along that gives you some movement, and you've got to be in shape for that to happen. And I'm glad I did that, because that's why I'm here.
How did you even find out about Dr. Moritz's research?
All my thank you for it to you guys. I think you got a hold of me.
That would be the Northwest Regional Spinal Cord Injury System. Got to get my plug in.
Because I continue to participate at UW. All my doctors are there and everything. So I'm part of the UW system. But I think it was you guys that got a hold of me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting an email like that. I went through the stem cell advocate years. And to date, not much has come from that. And it kind of burned me out. And that's when I really moved forward and was like, you know what? It just might not ever happen. So to get an email that there might be some hope to be part of a trial, I didn't even think twice about it.
So you had participated in some research here and there over the years, or never actually as a
Never.
participant?
No, never has. No.
Nothing seemed kind of
Nothing was
caught your
offered.
eye. Yeah, that made it seem like it was something you would want to do.
Yeah, or certainly not move across the country or relocate for, just no.
So tell us a little bit about what the experience has been like to be part of this trial.
13 years out, I don't expect anything. Like going into it, basically, expecting nothing. But selfishly, I do want movement. I want recovery. But I've also reached a point where, like, newly injured people or younger kids or whatever, I want to be part of something that their life can change. It's like, I can go on with my life. I'm going to be fine. I stress out about, like, new injury people. I want everybody. So I just felt like an obligation almost. And I expected nothing. And so it was exciting.
So tell me about so you agreed to participate, you signed your consent
Yep.
forms, you showed up on the first day. What exactly was the treatment? Tell me a little bit about like the specifics of what that meant.
Yeah, I guess what convinced me to be a part of the study was the non-invasive nature of it. I didn't have to have a surgery, I didn't have to be injected with anything, and I felt pretty safe about it. And so beyond that, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I showed up, other than I might have a chance at hand function. I would daydream what would happen. Success to me would be moving a knuckle, because that would mean conventional wisdom was wrong. I mean, you can have some movement after 13 years. That's not what you hear. It was a 4-month commitment. It was 3 days a week, a couple hours a day. The first month was physical therapy only to eliminate any latent movements or potentials that I had to bring them out. And lo and behold, and I give this to, can I mention Fatma and Lori, who I worked with as my team?
Yeah.
We did get a little bit of movement that first month. And I envisioned myself, before this started, that I would maybe cry. Who knows, the whole room might, because of what it would mean. But it happened pretty quick. I got some little twinge movements. And like I said, there was no time for crying. It came quick. There was going to be alternating physical therapy, then a month with stimulator, physical therapy again, followed by another month of the stimulator. And now I'm on a every 2-week follow-up. I experienced a lot of gain from this. It was amazing. There was a little post-trial depression that I would lose it all. I've gotten a taste of it. I know beyond those doors there's something in there that works for me, but it's a trial, and now I've moved on. So today was my 2-week follow-up, and there's a test that we do every couple weeks. It's a standardized test, and we see where I'm at. I didn't lose the thing. I was awesome. There's a pegboard, and that you move pegs over to one to the other, and it's to see if you can have tip-to-tip grasp. It was all there. It was just awesome. I'm still honestly pretty high off that session.
So, when I hear transcutaneous stimulation, I just think it might hurt.
It does a little bit.
Yeah.
They can hurt you if they want to. But the therapeutic dosage of it, to me, it feels like pop rocks on your neck, like just a tingle, and that's where they keep it at. It's strong. So what happens is they put sticky electrodes on the site of the injury, above and below it, and bridge the gap with an energy source. It takes a while to get used to that feeling for sure. So this is what was cool about it. So that first month of physical therapy, I was able to capitalize on let me say this first. My right hand has been a mannequin's hand. It doesn't do anything. I have a tenodesis grip at best. I had a tenodesis grip at best. Could barely grab anything. And so physical therapy, we started to capitalize on all the little twitches that kind of were in the hand. It always twitched a little bit, and we were able to firm up some things. It was cool being able to. We started with pinching ping pong balls, and then smaller ones, and then smaller ones. We got to the point where I couldn't pinch anymore, and physical therapy had run its course. The moment they turned that thing on, I was able to pinch. It was clear right from the get-go that it was going to give me some more strength. It was really exciting. All of us were excited in the room.
Do they have a standard protocol that they go through with you, so that whenever they turn the stimulator on, you do certain exercises or certain?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's
so tell
right.
me about what that actually.
Yeah, an average session would be 2 hours with the stimulator on, basically sitting in front of a table of preschool toys and mastering them best we can. And I say, if you have a good physical therapist, you're never good enough for them. And so I have to shout out to Lori, my physical therapist. This study was focused on both hands, and my left hand does work better. And so basically what we did is and by we, I mean Fat Man Lori, found every latent possibility in my hands and worked to improve them. So with my left hand, it got stronger. There's things like you can see I could not touch my thumb and my pinky together like I'm doing right here. For 13 years, it's like I compare it to like licking your teeth after you get your braces off. I can it's awesome. And
Yeah,
I do this
that's
all
cool.
day now because I can. And this is another one. I could not bend my wrist up. It's and this is, I think, I'm not a spokesman for the technology. I have no idea scientifically why it's working. But it is, wherever there was a possibility for something to happen, we were able to capitalize on that. Every little twitch. So I've had maybe the feeling that I could maybe move my wrist. I can move it sideways against gravity, and that's all I could ever do. And now it's I'm showing you. It's
Yeah,
I got
you
it.
totally have it against gravity. So how have these things actually played out? It's cool to do the tests and have it be functional there, and it's a standard test so you can compare it against people, and it's fabulous for research purposes. But once you leave the lab and you go home, how are you actually using all this stuff? What's different?
Actually, I realized really quickly, the payoff, what we were doing in that lab, I needed to go home and do too. And so honestly, I would go home and do those same preschool toys. I've got all the toys at home and do them for hours at home too. And just there isn't an immediate practical advantage of picking up like a kernel of popcorn off the table, with your right hand. But the gains stack. It's I've been able to pick up maybe a ping pong ball to begin with, like I say. Now I can pick up a friendship bracelet bead. That's pretty small. With my right hand, that did not work at all for 13 years almost.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, when I say the gains stack, the little twitches and the gains, they added up. And they added up pretty quick considering I've only been doing it 4 months. For instance, I don't drive with an adaptive device anymore. I don't need to with this hand. It's strong enough to grip the wheel, which is a big deal. I don't need that tri-pin anymore. There's been a lot of little things, but the biggest thing for me was my left hand. We got enough strength and dexterity that I can musically play a guitar again.
Wow.
And it's mind-blowing because just having an instrument again to spend hours piecing songs together with,
Yeah, that is super powerful.
It's overwhelming because it's something that I used to love to do, and I never thought I would do it again. I've skied, I've biked, I've done all the inspirational things you're supposed to do, but they've been a little bit empty. So 4 months into a technology where I've got one of my favorite things back, being able to express myself with an instrument again, what more can I say?
Yeah, that is huge. That is so powerful in the sense that you're getting to see change that really makes a personal difference.
Yeah. And I think what that highlights too is, all the focus is on, walking and being 100% restored again. If you can just get half of a vertebrae function back, look at my hand. You can see it's not 100%. It's barely even 80%, but it's just a little bit percent. And it's enough to make a life-changing effect for me. Even if it's little things, I can unload the dishwasher with my right hand now. One thing, when I think about it, I had become so left-right that I had forgot I had a right side of the body. This hand, This hand did it all. This hand didn't even exist. It was just an appendage. And now I just really feel rebalanced again.
Do you think that there's something about kind of where you are now that made this more possible? I mean, it might have been a year or two ago, but do you think there's something about kind of being, 10 years out, 11 years out, 12 years out that like puts you in a different position because you've been working out, because you've been staying healthy, because you've been like it allowed for different kind of recovery?
Because yes is the answer. I think the biggest thing being 13 years out is that my expectations are tempered. And all my eggs aren't in one basket like they used to be. It wasn't like, I'm going to walk again in 2 years, and that's my plan. And if I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. It's like, that's not my... So I was much gentler on myself. I went in with no expectations. If nothing happened, I didn't care. And I really went in primed, hoping I could add something to the scientific bucket and help the spinal cord community out.
So I'm curious about if this was possible for you to get in your physical therapist's office, in your outpatient therapy, would you go back to therapy?
100%. That's something to note too, is that I feel like I was a participant, or I am a participant, on a team.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's years out, who sees this trial and thinks, well, I don't know?
Well, on one hand, I think that's fair to think that, especially some of us who have been in chairs 10 years plus and seen and heard it all. Now, after what I've experienced and what I've been through, I would tell someone to not be so quick to sign off on what they think they know. This is a big thing. Was a big impression for me. Is you always hear about scientists and you hear about science happening, and it seems so intangible, and it seems like they are another, like, they're a different being. It doesn't seem real. And what was impressed on me is like how the passion here at UW, I mean, and the compassion and the drive and passion off the charts for what they do. People night and day dedicating their careers to, getting me out of the chair and movement. That's more than I've been doing for 13 years. I just owe them so much thank you and gratitude.
Yeah, it's huge.
One of my key pursuits was mountaineering. That's really where you would find me. We would be out in the mountains. And so I guess I brought a mountaineer's attitude, which is it's not hard to give 110%. And that's what I was there offering. And so that's my part of the team.
Have you noticed any improvements with your bowel or bladder or temperature regulation? Or
starting with my heart rate, I had a resting heart rate in the 40s, which is pretty low. That caused, especially in the morning, a lot of problems often, like with dizziness, and I'd have to just lay down. So my heart rate today was at 60, that's where it's gone up to. So my heart has like responded to this. At a resting heart rate, it's like 55 to 60 now. It's gone up 15, 20 beats. I don't sweat all the time appropriately, but I am starting to sweat in appropriate conditions. When you're in a chair and you sweat, that usually means something terrible is going on inside, and it's just cause for alarm and panic. But I've been sweating because it's 80 degrees out for the first time in a long time. Bladder, I can actually transfer over and empty most of my bladder. But that's something that I always had somewhat of an ability. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't empty it enough to make it really worth the effort. And it's just, I kind of got lazy about it, to be honest. Now I can just about empty completely most of the time.
That's great.
Yeah. It's like, to quantify it, I'm calving about on purpose twice a day less. I make sure just cut 2 out of my day because I can't empty all the way, and I've got to,
Yeah, you definitely need to keep your bladder healthy, but also that probably changes the timing and kind of the wear and all those kind of pieces too. Have you had issues with autonomic dysreflexia at all with this? Or have you, it sounds like for some of this, it's actually made things better.
For me, it has only made things better. I have not slept good for this whole injury. Like at night, for whatever reason, my legs go into overdrive and I kick all night, and I've been known as just like a zombie, basically. It's terrible. I dread going to bed because I know it's not going to be good. I was worried about going into the study because I didn't want to make anything worse. And I've been blessed. I don't have any pain. I don't want to light up my pain sensors. I almost wanted,
You're nervous about
that
it.
was my nervousness for sure. And
yeah. And no one could say like, oh no, that'll never happen.
And I would ask, and that would be the answer.
Yeah,
the answer would be that's why you're number 7. Research, subject number 7, you're finding out for us. The sleep, though, it's like, okay, for about a couple weeks into it, it did seem to get worse, which it couldn't get much worse. But then it reversed, and it did started to ramp down, and I started waking up like later in the night. And even like last night, I got about 6 hours in a row. That's common now. I'm waking up every morning refreshed. It's awesome. And that is something that they have noticed, actually, is that sleep has gotten better for people.
Right.
And again, that's those little things. It's like, no, I'm not running and climbing mountains yet like I want to be. But hey, I'll take sleeping at night.
Yeah, that's huge, especially after 13 years. You've probably been pretty grumpy.
Yeah, it's true. They're recruiting for the next hand function trial coming up, and they're specifically looking for Asia C and Ds. They're short on them. Like, that's like you if you're out there listening. Like, sign up. Like, they need people like us. If everyone gets busy and everyone moves on and no one's left for the experiments. I have to give a huge thank you and shout out to Chet and to Fatma and to Lori for just their tireless time and efforts. I mean, I am so thankful for them and Soshi and everybody else on that team too. I would see faces come in. I don't know everybody's names, but they've all got the same heart. They were just such an amazing team, and I'm so thankful. They let me be part of it and make me feel like I was a star or something of it, and I'm not. I just am a guy who showed up.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you. I mean, one, thanks for coming here today and talking with us, but also as somebody who does research, thank you for participating. Thank you for answering that email and getting in touch with them and being part of the research, because without people participating, we wouldn't be able to learn all the cool stuff we can learn. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the SCI Forum podcast. To learn more or to make a donation, please visit sci.washington.edu.